Heard that sound.
You ready to start? Thank you. Yes, please. Did you guys, everyone get one of these?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going on. Start off by saying that we have a quorum. We can have a meeting. Then it says, oh, owners' comments. Do we, any comments from any of the owners? No owners? Okay, that's good. I'll call a meeting to order. Now they ask for a motion to adopt the agenda.
I will motion.
Sorry. Ready?
This starting.
And I'll take a motion to approve the minutes.
A motion to.
Okay. Now voting and discussion, and we're going right to the main issue. The pink elephant in the room, of course, is going to be the grass today. So we have to get through this, no matter what. Because we want to present it to the board at the next meeting. All right. What we have is, it was 39,000 and change was the estimate for the park. And quite frankly, I was pleasantly surprised that he hires.
We're just rolling with it.
Good, yeah.
That was gonna be $200 higher.
Yeah.
Good
Good
job.
job.
All right. The small dog park, which always was the better of the two, is starting to show really bad wear.
Oh, yeah, it's past starting to show. It's a hot mess.
So, and I don't go on that side. I just happen to walk through it periodically. Large dog side is horrible. I mean, it's just really, really bad. So what we need to do is have it resodded properly. With the sod, I assume that we'll get a guarantee.
So it's tough on the guarantee in the dog park. We're gonna make sure that the sod lives.
Well, yeah, the guarantee, I'm not asking it to last 3 years. I'm asking it to knit.
So what's your typical guarantee on a passive park?
So on the passive parks, I think I'd have to check. It's either 90 days or 30 days.
So, yes, and that's common for all of our landscape contracts.
Okay.
Either between 30.
Including the dog park?
So yeah, so the dog park, we can guarantee for 30 days right off the bat because the park's gonna be closed for 3 weeks, which is 21 days of,
Gives
That
them
should give it-
trash it.
right? So we can take pictures, and when pictures are brought to us from park monitors, from Christian staff, from Danny's staff, that show here is an area that was dry and died. We can replace that under warranty. Here is an area that was dug up by a dog that would not be under warranty.
And that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. That brings up a good question. We did some interviews and talking and investigation with Infomar, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. And they referred us to a company, and I didn't write it down, but I have it phonetically spelled as Tacoma or something like that. The Tacoma,
COMO,
no, it's T, started with a T.
TOMO.
According to Infomar, and according to them, they are the people who have a system of checking every watering hole in the county.
Toho.
I was
Oh,
gonna say.
okay, okay. So
That's-
I
that's-
phonetically spelled.
That's
They
Kissimmee.
They said a smart meter.
Yeah.
Okay, is that what you were talking about before?
So up until about a week or two ago, the dog park meter was physically unreadable by us. I don't know about to ECDD. If they have a tool that they can read it and the display being broken doesn't matter.
According to them, they said they can.
Okay, so we can feel the pipe, like you can put your hand on the meter and feel water running through it. And then when water's running through it, you're either gonna see water pouring out somewhere because of a leak or water running through an irrigation head, or in the drip line, you can see it. So we can verify that the meter is working, the meter is running. We just can't verify how many gallons are going through it.
And see, they said they could.
So they may be able to, but I'm not sure about that.
Why
So
can't our meter do that?
about 2 weeks ago, we had one of our guys request with ECDD to change the meter so that we could read it. And since that, we have read the meter, I think 4 times to, what was it, 15,720 or 270 gallons have been used since we changed the meter, which means that the meter has run 4 times. It uses between 3,500 and 4,000 gallons each time it runs. So anytime we want now, we can go to that meter and divide it by.
Well, I'm gonna take your, word. I mean, on your word for it, I want you to keep an eye on it, especially if you see some dry spots.
Yeah.
Uh,
So Toho's the company, Lake Toho Kepekalaka, with the one in Kissimmee.
The lake, no one can.
They're our St. John's Water Authority. They're the Lake Toho Water. So they control all water. If we're in a drought and the supply is diminished, it's not ECDD. That comes from Toho. And they short the water supply, not just for Celebration, but for every community, everywhere.
The other thing they told us that it really surprised me, because I heard just the opposite, is there is no limit to how much. There's no saying, well, if you hit X amount of gallons, we're gonna shut you off.
So they won't do that. So it's a play on words. They won't do that. But in a time of drought, they will restrict water usage. And this is something St. John's does, Toho does, the entire state of Florida does. I believe this is regulated by the Department of Agriculture or even the governor's office, but this is out of our hands. We can't make more water come.
Okay. Last time that they did the park with the sod, it was a horrible job. They piecework, they cut pieces here, pieces there, there were gaps. We're not gonna see that, right? We're gonna,
So we've quoted for Bahia sod. So Bahia sod, typically on an installation, we look for 10% or less overlap. So one of the things, overlap is when a piece lays over another piece. So there will be some of that. Will it be widespread to the point of, oh my gosh, this looks terrible?
well, it was so obvious. I mean, if it was, the dogs knew exactly where they would go because there was big gaps. Yeah, I understand where, I've done it myself many times, where you had to cut and fit like a puzzle.
Yeah. So Bahia, if you've ever laid Bahia, then you know that you pick up one piece of Bahia and it just falls apart. It's not like St. Augustine and Zoysia.
They're
Sometimes,
chunking it.
yeah. So there will be parts that are chunky. They run the roller across it to help smash it down.
Then can we at least fill them with topsoil and have those?
We can explore that option, coming through with some sand afterwards if we have big enough areas.
Yeah.
But in that 3 weeks of growing period, we will be mowing it and running the mower tires over it and stuff like that. And it helps to smash those pieces and help them fit into place even
Okay,
better.
if I'm jumping around here, because I really don't have a whole lot of notes, this is all in my head, so
You're fine.
excuse me if I'm doing that. Now, you had told me, and I didn't realize, that you have to do the small park first, because you have to come in through the big park.
Correct.
Could you tell us?
Yeah, so our service entrance is on the large dog park facing lot B, which is the one where they put all the hurricane debris, and it's at the back. So to get to the small dog park, you have to travel through the large dog park.
Yep.
So when we do the prep, we will not prep the large dog park. We will leave it in the condition it's in right now. We'll travel straight through to the small dog park, prep it, and they will start to deliver the sod at the same time they're prepping. So it'll be a very quick process. I imagine the entire downtime at a maximum of 1 week, right? And that doesn't include the weekend. We would hope that the large dog park would be open before or during the weekend.
If we
So
could
we're
deal-
gonna process and replace the sod in the small dog park first,
Small dog park first.
not then going to not alternate days.
Yes, that's
Because-
my next thing.
Because if we do that, then the big dogs are gonna trash everything you just did.
So I recommend going while we're doing the small dog park and the installation is complete and now the large dog park is open, small dog park is closed for the growing period. I recommend you switch to a even days, large dogs, odd days, small dogs in that large dog park.
Depending on the side.
But when the large dog park
No.
is being done,
Large dog park being done, then I would recommend you switch to the same schedule, large dogs, even days.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do. What I intend to do is the 4th day, whichever park we're using, we give them the 4th day and.
Yeah.
versa.
But
Yeah.
then what's,
We'll
but
take,
my concern is that when the small dog park is done, the big dogs are now using it because they're
Gonna trash it.
Yeah,
the trash it again.
but if we're, so, we're-
Because it won't have had, I mean,
yeah, but we're not gonna trash the entire small dog park in 3 weeks. So
you met these big dogs?
I've met the
You
big
you
dogs.
could put like a temporary barricade to just keep the large dogs
No, we
in
don't,
a certain area instead of the hole.
Yeah.
we don't want to do any temporary barricades or anything like that because it just makes the dogs curious to go after them, right? So what we need to do, right? And you hear these little speeches in movies all the time and everything. We all got to work together. Okay? So we need to, the dog park committee, if you can start a grassroots campaign, I know you guys can raise money for different things. If you can start a grassroots campaign and say, this is our dog park. Let's take pride in our dog park. By the nature, the dogs are killing the dog park. They urinate, they kill the grass. They dig, they kill the grass.
Well, dogs are gonna urinate and they're
Right.
crap.
You can't stop it. So start this campaign. Our dogs want to enjoy this dog park, but without it being their fault, they're killing it. So every time we're there, there's nothing we can do about the urination, right? Nothing. But the dog poop, we can clean up. And there's tons of doggy pots there. We counted them yesterday.
I think in the little dog park, we're generally pretty good with it.
No, this needs to be, forget the past. This needs to be,
Yeah, it's, picking up poo is not.
yeah, but this needs to be moving.
All our time on this.
Right. But moving forward, everyone whose dog digs a hole needs to take their foot and push that dirt back in. They need to take whatever tool is around and push that dirt back in. If the constituents of the dog park don't take care of the dog park, it's going to end up in the same condition. This is going to take everybody. This isn't a fault of a landscape company or a management company or dog park owners. This is a whole, we've got to work together. Forget the past, move forward.
How long,
I guess
how
I only,
it's knitted?
Sorry,
How long before it's knitted?
3 weeks.
Okay.
So we want to close for 3 weeks.
But remember, he did say, and I don't want that to be overlooked, there will be a week that both parks have to be closed. Both parks will be closed for a week.
and that's what I want to get that timeline down, because if that's the message we're gonna put out, that's fine. My concern was that we're gonna spend all this money, replace this out in the small dog park, and then do the big dog park. And I know it's because of the way you have to access it, but
So I want everybody to put in their mindset that we're not going to close the dog park ever again, right? I may be wrong. You know, this may not,
Close it as we have to.
no, but like, we're never going to close it for a renovation on this scale again. Because Jacob's team,
I admire your optimism.
it's optimistic, it's not going to work. With Jacob's team, with my team, we're going to go in there and we're going to monitor and we're going to see. It's January. We have 300 dead square feet of grass. We do not need to order a pallet of sod. But we are aware of it. We got pictures of it. It's February. That 300 turned into 500. We need to order a pallet of sod now.
And I'm here to say that, because I've been here long, as Jill, been long enough to understand that we've gone through this before. And you're right, you're absolutely correct. However, if that was done back then, we wouldn't be in the position we're in right now. So that's another issue, and
Okay, yeah.
it's something that we're going to keep an eye on.
That's something,
In fact, I personally
we're doing this with our passive park.
give every month, tell them, hey, there's a bad spot here, there's a bad spot there. Hopefully, your people will notice it before I do.
Well, I hope we both notice it.
Well,
You notice
one of us has got to notice. Okay, that's an issue that we can give. As for the closing, let me get on to some logic that you missed here, because like what Jill said, if in fact we put the small dog park, we put the big dog park, dogs in there, it's going to tear up. Well, the same thing would happen then in the big park, because you're going to be putting the dogs right back in. So that's not an issue. If it happens, we fix it.
I do think that if it's closed for 3 weeks and then the dogs are in there for a week and it starts to, because of whatever timing, I think that Exquisite needs the ability to say, we need to close down for 3 days or another. Because we need to catch it, stop it, rather than let it get worse and continue
I
on.
think that's absolutely necessary.
We do that. Their field.
You know, look, you saw the
Yes,
other night, we're not gonna please. You're gonna have, everybody's gonna have certain agenda items, but as a whole, our job is to represent the 1,350 dogs that are potentially able to go into that park.
Yeah.
Well, and I think
If-
this goes to what he's saying, if everybody pitches in, this won't be an issue. But if
Correct.
people don't, management needs to be able to shut it down.
And maybe, in fact, not maybe, we'll put it on the agenda for the next committee. This committee ends in March and a new committee comes in, it probably be a lot of the same people. That we will make it, if you are caught not repairing, not replacing, and not picking up consistently, then you'll be banned for 2 weeks and then 4 weeks.
I love it. I can't be a part of that, but I love,
No. That'll be on the agenda for the next, the 2025 board.
Yeah.
We got to do something because there are 75% of the people that are absolutely doing what they have to do. It's 25% of the people are killing it.
it's similar.
All right.
One quick question.
Like that.
How much camera coverage do we have for the footage of the park?
All of it.
It's,
So you can see everything, so, okay.
Yeah, everything, he's the whole thing.
We just sat down the other day and had that conversation because I'm writing an article on the incident reports.
But
Okay. That's the answer to those questions. Now, I told you in the big dog park, what I want is I want that area open where they can dig. There ain't nothing gonna grow there. Use my South Pole.
Is this by the seating area?
That is right by the seating area where the trees overhang and the dogs will dig there no matter what. So just leave me that, but make it look nice.
Can we,
are
Yeah,
you stating that where the,
It's gonna be about a 5 foot square.
where the rocks end and where the sod would begin? You're stating that right now that there is a large sand pit and you're requesting that.
I'm saying leave that open as a digging pit.
So you want to keep the dirt there so they can just dig.
Correct.
Can we get a vote on that? A consensus on that?
Yeah.
About,
we need that in writing.
How many people go to the large dog park?
Because when all of those people at the large dog park that showed up at our meeting the other day complained that their dogs are dirty when they leave there, they're gonna have a,
No, you don't understand. I'm there all the time.
I do.
The dirty comes from where there's no grass. There's only maybe 4 or 5 dogs that are diggers.
Yeah.
And every one of them goes to that spot. Nothing's going to grow there. It's right under the tree.
I agree with you. I think that it's a playground for dogs, right?
Nothing's gonna grow there. Nothing's ever grown there. I mean, that's been,
But I think that it needs to be maintained as a sand box
Yeah.
for dogs, basically. So
Well, and with our rakes, these people will be responsible for filling the holes the same as they are now with things.
it's just,
next, my next question is gonna be, I agree, it might need a border around it. What material can we use that is dog safe
well, the most obvious
and
one
people not
is
kill?
red rock. Is to just put a band of red rock
I'm
and have
going
it
to just leave that to you because that's your job.
A small rock.
But yeah, smaller, if that's what everybody wants, the small rock.
No, because if you put the big rock down there, that's the same problem we had before.
But yeah,
I agree with you. They need,
I don't know if I need a recommendation for this, but if you think
I think that there needs to be in the minutes a vote on this.
I would
in
agree.
the committee, so that when the residents say, they did this whole thing and they didn't do this area, why is everyone so stupid?
this actually is from the people.
Yeah, but
Then
we need-
vote. And
Those are the people that go today, but not,
do the vote.
Do I have to, could I do it now?
so I am gonna,
Anybody,
hang on.
anybody who is in
Wait.
favor of putting this,
Oh, I'm gonna make a motion.
Can I make a motion?
So I'm gonna make a motion that we leave the current sand pit area where the dogs dig and there, nothing will grow. We're gonna put a border around it of rock and leave it as sand. That's my motion.
approximately
Second.
20 foot by 20 foot.
yeah,
you got a motion and second. All those in favor?
I,
Opposed? All right, we're covered. Thank you for the motion. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for agreeing with me. Right. All right.
so the next thing we need to do
So,
is we need to make a recommendation to the board
Yeah, we're-
to accept the.
We're not done yet. I want
discussion.
everybody to give an opinion.
one small note on the rock border. I know you like the smaller rock. The intent of the large rock and why you see that around the barrier is to deter the dog from digging it. That rock will hold better from a dig line's sake, from mixing.
I get that. But the problem is, if that's a spot where the dogs are gonna go dig anyway, and you've put the big rock there, they cut their paws on it before, and we had to fight to get,
So
There's another rock that you can probably get enough to pull a little thing around, or put a, can you put railroad ties or not railroad ties, those little smaller ties?
landscape timbers. So like the playground has the black plastic around it, could we just use wooden landscape timbers?
So you could do that.
Make it an actual sandbox for.
Yeah, we can make an off the
dogs.
You guys really want to do this? You guys want a sandbox in the dog park?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's a big dog park, man, that's all.
Here's.
It's always.
It's always-
Yeah, it's always seen, yeah.
The dogs.
Let's give it to them.
It's gonna be,
Let's give it to them.
Sounds good.
It's cheaper than buying them play toys.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Framing it makes it clear that like this is supposed to be like this.
Yeah.
Well,
And it's gonna-
I think it'll
Make
help,
sure
it'll
that
help
the
the
dogs think that it's
accountability of
still
all
there
the
again.
owners, right? Like what we were talking about, say, hey, there is a spot where your dog, can go. Make sure they're moving Just here, not and if they don't, then you gotta be the one to fill it.
I'm make sure we can have that helps to take them. We'll know this is.
yeah,
I'll take a picture, oh, I'm not going to do that, I'll take a picture of it.
Say what you're saying over there.
I'm saying that I need to try to get this timber frame on the quote, so I can get it on the actual quote that's reaching the board, so it all is a reserve project. But the timing of this has to be by tomorrow midday, so I can get it in the.
That's why
So
we're not
can
leaving
we-
here until months.
Tell you what, you guys move on to
Okay.
the next thing, and then we'll come right back to this. I'm just gonna look up the cost of landscape timber
Okay, yeah.
versus a yard of rock. And then we'll-
But I'd like to start, John, you start and just tell us what your concerns are, what you're thinking about everything there.
Honestly,
that was my big thing. That was a big draw when I was offered to like be part of this. It's like that pit was always a problem. It's people would fall in it, whatever. So I think making it a clear, distinct.
And the border around should tell, well, people know it's there now, but
Right.
Yeah.
But it's shocking for the people who go there for the first time to say,
right, which
Like
is
what you-
why everybody that goes there now.
yes, there's an image to uphold I get for the community that we all live here. So I think labeling that is a really great idea.
I'm not a dog park person. Most people here know that. I like doing other things with dogs, so that's the reason I'm here.
I already said everything I was gonna say.
anybody here? Speak.
No, if that's what you guys wanted, I support it, man.
Yeah.
I agree. I think the only thing I'd like to add to this, and it already may be in place, I'm just not aware of, but what the rules and fines are. So I want to make sure everyone come and use the park will understand that, because if any of us see something that's going on and then you catch the violators on film and they try to deny it, but you show them on the film, they're gonna get fined, they know. Instead of like,
So- I can help. So I'm writing, I met with Danny yesterday. We went over the exact process for incidents and all of that. I'm writing the article for the April issue of the magazine. I'll be turning it in at the
Yeah.
beginning of March. That will detail, and I'm gonna talk to Belinda about having an actual full page with example photos in of what they see on the camera so people can see. It's not as anonymous as you think. We can see who's there so that everybody understands. And I'm gonna have them blast that out in a couple of
Yeah.
town hall, social media posts as well, so that people are aware that these are the consequences, that we recommend the whatever happens. And it's not even just for like a dog incident. It's for if your dog is chewing and you're not picking it up and we know about it, like all of that.
and there's people don't even know, because there are times I'm there, you all probably seen the same thing. You got social hour going with the humans. Dogs are doing the thing and they do the thing, and the humans have no idea what the dog just did. Then they get dog and they go. Then you're gonna say, hey, your dog go, oh, they did, that's where the camera.
Right, so the cameras cover all of the dog park. There's not any part that you can't see. There's a couple areas that are a little fuzzier, but they kind of overlap,
Yeah.
so you can know who's there.
Mhm.
That with the,
It's a good accountability.
yeah, that with the tracking of the key cards.
Good.
So that will be coming out.
Okay, so we pretty much have, we're almost ready to make our recommendation or whatever to do. How about we go to the next thing? He's looking it up, all right? Next thing here is, got the dog placement committee town forum discussion. I personally was impressed. 40 people, we asked for a count, that's many were there, and then we had 6 or 7.
It was 50 every, because I put 50 chairs out, we filled up everyone.
That's
I-
more than showed up for the election forum.
But we're more interesting, yeah.
More people care about the dog park than they do the board.
Yeah, I had
I'm on.
some part night, so I would have been there.
Now, some of the questions we just covered tonight,
Yeah.
so.
So it was a good meeting. I thought we had a good turnout. I thought there was some constructive criticism about how we could do it better next time we do a town hall kind of a thing for everybody. And I appreciate that, you know, you guys showed up for it and, you know, participated. So we've got the list of, it's not it's here.
Do you want,
You should have one, you don't have one in your package here.
I probably do, but it's
Yeah.
also on my laptop right in front of me.
you want to address one?
Yeah, we
So we talked about landscaping. We've covered that ad nauseum here. The next bigger thing was like the shade structures and stuff like that. So, you know, perhaps we could install a couple of shade sails. It's not easy to say, on the small and the big dog park side. I think the big dog park side has some different shading issues.
Yeah, I know,
than-
it's not neat.
Well, you've got the trees, but they,
Yeah.
the bigger issue was down by like where the pool and stuff is, maybe just putting a smaller shady bit down that way for you guys.
They look like a covered bus stop.
Yeah. sure. Put a splash pad in, you know, whatever. I think the small dog park has definitely more shade issues because we don't have the bigger trees, which means we keep our grass, so it's a trade-off. So maybe we look at getting some quotes and estimates for that to see what it would take to do those.
Before we would do that, I would advise the committee to be very specific on what they want, sizing and location.
Yep.
And I think part of that should be asking the specialists with grass, like, because I know how golf courses work with shade a little bit, but what level of shade you're talking about and then what it, there's all this grass that you're talking about, so it's worth asking about while we're here, I think.
All right, these are probably going to be agendas for the next committee, but
They are, but we can still acknowledge, you know, for anybody who happens to.
the one thing that we do want to maybe address tonight of all of them is time change.
Yeah, so I'm working.
Yeah,
down
when you
on
get
this
to
here.
it, I think we'll spend
The
some.
next thing was some people were upset about the dog park size changes that we made, which the change of a small to a large from, you know, 35 to 30 pounds. We're not going to stand out there with a scale. We're not going to measure and weigh dogs. If you say your dog weighs 35 pounds and it's under, I'm going to trust that you know what you're doing. It's a guideline and a rule that's in place, so I don't think we need to go back and change that.
I think Lauren had a great idea. Ignore it.
I think they're gonna do what they're gonna do anyway, and
And if it
Ignorance is
becomes an
bliss.
issue, we address each issue.
individually.
Yeah,
But I think leaving it as it is now and saying
At
specifically,
least we're covered. We have,
right. I think it's good as it is. I don't really think we need to revisit that. Dog park closure, somebody was concerned that we close the dog park for 8 hours and nobody can take their dog to the park for 8 hours. You got 6 other.
wait till they hear about 3 weeks.
We have to have time to safely put down any herbicides or pesticides to keep the grass that we want to look nice. So it has to be closed for 8 hours. I did a heck of a lot of research to figure out what kind of pesticides we could use that would do the least amount of damage, the least amount of harm. So I don't think we can really address that issue in any, I mean, they want us to change the time frame to 10 to 3. Well, it's not long enough to dry that grass. Another one was about incident reports, which we are talking about, and will educate the community on how to do that.
At night to let them know we're way ahead of them.
Right. I did work with Danny to fix the QR. So the QR code had been using a public QR code maker. So it actually dumped a bunch of ads on the website before you got to the incident report. And the point of the QR code is to make it easy. So I made a brand new QR code that goes directly to the Google form to fill it out. So you could stand in the dog park and fill it out if you wanted. There's no ads that are gonna pop up or anything. The other was about equipment not being stored properly. Well, that's on us. If we don't do it, if we as a user of the dog park don't put away our toys, that's, I don't,
Where do you want them to put them? It's not like we can, how tree out, put them in.
right. I don't really know, what they expect of that. They complained about dog poo in the park. Well, okay, same thing. Clean up after your dog and pay attention. Put your phone down and stop talking.
If we were able to supply 4-inch PVC cut to about 2 to 3 feet tall, are we able to secure that to fence post?
I don't think it has to be that tall.
You mean just to put the tools in and
Yeah,
out
just
of
to-
the stand for?
Put the tool upside down and it goes,
Oh.
and then they can,
I kind of had something like that.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the,
would that be
Order it,
okay on the
sorry,
fence
yeah.
post?
We can,
I
but.
mean, do you have any,
But what I'm assuming is they're not going back to put it, so no matter what, if you have a hanger or not, they're just.
You can't
I'm guessing they're just dropping it where they were.
They're
Believe
just
me when I tell you, and you'd be wasting your money. After 2 weeks, they would.
If you want, the same as.
It's like getting your kids to clean up their room. If you don't put it back,
Yeah.
so, yeah. And then the last comment was that the dog park committee should have, control over the annual amount of money approved by the board. I was like, yeah,
Hey, there's something we can vote on. That would get far.
sure. Just give us the money. I got a big old bag right here.
The people in general don't understand, that we don't have a budget. That's a fact. We don't have a budget.
There is a budget. We don't control it. We don't-
Yes, technically, that's correct, but they just don't, they can't fathom that. You know,
Right.
What do you mean? You're a committee, you don't have any money to spend. Yeah, we can even spend their own without authority.
So,
you provide recommendations?
right, to wrap up the forum discussion, I think it was a really good exercise for the community to come speak their piece and get to know things. I think we should do another one. I think the next committee should do one. And,
I totally-
every 6 months you have one so that people can air their grievances around the Festivus pole and,
Or even sooner, how about having one right after the parks are done, give everybody a chance to get their opinions?
I would give it a little bit of time, but I mean,
Well, 3 months, I'm not saying,
well, it's still the next committee, so.
there's definitely, everything will be definitely the next committee.
So anyway, that's the end of the report from the town hall, but I thought it was good to have it, and I think we did that.
Thank you.
Do we need to do anything else to like make that more like you said, make it an official frequent thing for the next committee to do? Like, do we need to make a motion?
We can't dictate the
So-
next committee, but hopefully enough of us will be here to bring it up.
When the committee gets there, so at the beginning, I don't think you were here at the very beginning, right? The
Not
beginning of the
first-
year?
yeah, not-
Okay, so at the very beginning, they give us like goals, so to speak, like we're gonna do 2 events in a year, or we're gonna do this, or we're gonna do that, like, so we actually have something to work toward,
Yeah.
and that's something that could be part of it.
Just as long, because I think it's such a good thing. My uncle got to go to it when I was out of town and filled me in. It was such a good thing to do that I would love to have that happen again. So,
We can do
You
that.
make,
even if it's word of mouth. you
if
know.
you make a note just in the minutes to write it in the charter, then I'll make sure that gets written in the charter, because that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's exactly
I'll
what
make sure that gets written in the charter to host another.
Okay, great.
Have at
And
least,
have it,
at least one.
I would say, yeah, 2 every 6 months to have them,
That'll just be where I'll look to remember that.
or twice a year, or whatever
I think it was good, it was great. Do we need anything to exit the stone or get? Everything was just talked about.
No, pretty much, everything was, we pretty much had the answers, like, landscaping was the majority of the one. The shade structure, that's something we have to look into, it's not just, we already voted on the siding, so that's already.
Are you ready to come up with some figures for us?
Yeah, I just sent Jacob a quote.
So wait, are we voting on that?
Well, we want to hear it, then we'll vote on it.
All
grass and.
And the, yeah,
Both additional.
Yes, okay.
So this is both parks.
And a beer
And
vending
So
machine.
do you have the quote?
And a beer vending machine.
The,
I have,
Pizza Hut out there.
okay, it would be about an additional $685 for the timbers to do the frame.
so
Yes.
that puts it at like
Look at this, well, look at this together on the action item for the video.
No, 650.
600, so it was 30, it was 39,800.
800, and I just,
Okay, so add in 600, so 40,400.
isn't that what I just said?
You said, it sounded like you said 44,000.
40,
Oh, 40, comma, 48.
sorry,
To
sorry.
make it easier, you can say you want to approve the number and this number.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
are we,
I-
I'll make a motion
I
to.
actually, I think we're still under. I was thinking at least 60, 70,000, so I think we're doing.
So we did the,
Don't give him a chance to make that number better.
Yes, I know, you're,
So I am going to make a motion that we approve the quotes from Exquisite for the sod and the additional quote for the sandbox ties, whatever we want to call them.
John second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So we would like that to go to the board, please.
I have a question.
Yes.
How has this committee had numbers since July? And this hasn't been in action until now?
But that's up to the board. You know how many times this has been brought up with Celia?
Yeah,
But this vote that you just took, why did it take 7?
Because we couldn't get past the step of having them come up, having the board or Graham Manners, having the board tell Graham Manners, let me get this correct, having the board tell Graham Manners to ask him to get us an estimate. Every time we did it, it was put aside, put aside, put aside. Go check our minutes. We were, let me tell you something. I personally was ready to walk out.
But the
Right.
vote is from July.
it is from July.
So we had discussions constantly about this quote, right? But then it was like, what, do we close it for a week, 2 weeks? So it wasn't, no one could really decide how they want to handle this. So that's why.
There's a lot of discussion.
Okay.
And then this is why I always invite Brian here to answer any questions so that when we decide to do the vote.
Ryan's been to about 4 or 5 meetings.
I'm just asking for my own information.
Oh,
because I
believe
haven't-
So that's why.
Nobody's more frustrated than we were.
Well, this is on the agenda, I know, for the next meeting, and now there's guidance as to what it is exactly. The timeline and all that will have to be figured out with management and Brian, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you,
It will be, in a light discussion, it'll be about a 9-week project. First week completely closed, then you'll see one park closed, followed by another park.
Okay.
following.
any meetings that you guys have on the discussion of that, I would like to be invited to.
I don't expect us to have any more. I mean, now that we have a timeline and we know.
Can we just have, like, when you get the actual
Once-
timeline,
Once,
can we see it laid out, like,
yeah,
this week with this date, this?
once I have board approval, then I'll contact all of our vendors and line everything up, and then I'll give Jacob a complete schedule.
I think it would be good to put in the Monday Matters and on.
And that was gonna be my next statement.
Like, just for like the pools, just when the pools are closed, this schedule means.
They can't just, I can't just tell him on Monday, and then Tuesday they close the park for a week, so how much notice?
How long does it usually take you to get Bahia? Couple weeks?
We can get it a lot of times next day,
You
so
could tell them on a Friday and they could do it by a Monday.
is that enough time to notify?
Well, I'll let him answer that, but.
Yeah,
I think a socialization plan would be needed. So if this goes to the board next Wednesday, let's take the following week's to socialize it and then start the
So,
following.
so I'm looking at dates so that we can
Yes.
actually talk dates, because I
I'm
can't.
just going to ask you, can you put
Or
something?
February
Thing about the top close.
Yes.
6th,
So the 26th is when,
going to the board.
It's
We will
going-
socialize this to start the project on March 10th.
okay, so we'll start the project for March 10th, but we'll
Monday,
start
March.
socializing it before then.
We'll start socializing it after the
Right after the board.
That's what I'm,
probably in the Friday flash.
I don't foresee that timeline being a problem, but I'll let you know as soon as.
yeah, Friday Flash, Monday Matters, all of the places.
Yes, that is
Then-
to source material that will, but we will.
And then we can also
So by
put it
May-
on the Facebooks and,
By May, both parks will be back open again.
Yeah, that will be our goal.
And
unless people screw it up and you say, shut it.
just shut it down. How much?
Seriously, I would rather you do that than us. be
Then do
here
this
in
again.
4 months.
So, yeah,
There's all the holes everywhere.
Crowe's goal, Grand Manor's goal, and my goal is going to be that this never has to happen again. That may not be realistic, right? This could be just,
So you can ask for it.
but we're gonna try. We're gonna try.
Now, again, let me get this straight in my head. We talked a lot. How long from day one to the end will the park actually be closed for repair?
For the entire project,
Yeah,
he just said 9 weeks.
9 weeks. So the park will be closed for not, dogs cannot be used for.
No, we're gonna.
That's what I want to.
Meeting.
You're
gonna alternate.
When do we start alternating?
After 1 week, we plan to close.
That's what I thought it was 3 weeks, but one,
1 week, close both parks, and then we'll start alternating.
okay.
So we're only hoping to have the parks closed, both parks closed for 1 week.
And
But that-
definitely will be the
that's the-
small first,
Beginning.
small dog closed first.
March 10th, the dog park.
Small dog park first, large dog park second.
Okay, all right.
And then the following week.
When you get a project plan of weeks and stuff, if you could just get it sent to us.
Yep.
Because that way we can start socializing it in person at the parks.
Yes, we'll actually, once we get that and we post it on, our media platforms, we'll do a print version on the gates.
I was gonna say, we'll put it in the,
Bulletin board.
yeah, that
They-
thing.
on the gates.
You know what I'm drawing?
Plus, the dog park, plus unleashed.
If anyone doesn't know what Bahia is, it's the big field right here outside the building.
It's green, it's grass, that's all they need.
And it's around almost every retention pond and celebration.
Okay, this is great. This is what we had to do. Now I got to say something about the meeting that we had, the open house forum that we had. I was really disappointed that only 2 board members showed up. And
Did we actually extend an invite to all the,
shouldn't have to.
well, you kind of should say, hey,
Why?
because
If it's something that's out there, they should have some kind of interest in it.
but they're relying on their liaison to do that, right? So unless we say, hey, I would like all of the board to try to attend, I think it's slightly.
I don't want anybody at my party I have to invite their friends.
But I just think it's unrealistic for us to think that they'll just.
No, I made a statement. I'm disappointed that only 2 came out. In fact, there was only 2 last night, as a matter of fact, same 2, not ironic. But to be that as it may, we on to the next thing. And that is the next meeting date.
So I'm gonna add something before that, if you don't mind. We have totals from Pups and Pints, from the,
Oh, yeah.
from the merchandise that we sold. So we sold $310 worth of merchandise. I sold $310 worth of merchandise.
Oh, no, I was there too.
You were, you petted all the dogs. We spent, I think it was like 800 and some or 9. It was super close.
I believe it's 928 we spent,
On the merchandise, and you were gonna get me the totals
which
of inventory left, which we were also talking about doing, having a tent at one of the Food Truck Fridays,
Okay.
so that we can sell some more stuff and raise a little bit more funds for it. So, and I'm willing to, I can't do it this Food Truck Friday, but next,
Again,
Like March or April.
shouldn't that be up to the next committee?
we're still the committee through March.
Through March, yeah.
It doesn't get seated till the end, till April.
And you're going to commit them to,
I'm willing to commit them to all kinds of things because I'll probably be here.
Well, you can't commit the next committee to something, but you can commit to March week.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whatever Danny can work out, if he can work out the March one, then we'll have a tent there and we'll sell stuff.
okay, forgot now, I'll come back later.
So our next meeting date will be,
Well,
I am of the meeting.
correct. So we talked and talk about the times of the meetings.
some people want it after 6 or 6 range.
okay, in your guys' email that I sent you, I'm looking for that.
Have it
That's the 2 dates that I was asking.
March 18th or April 15th
For both, yeah, so March 18th
So-
and April 15th, yeah.
from 5:30 to 6:30.
Now, which one is not a third?
Neither of them,
Neither of those.
both Tuesdays.
18th is on a Tuesday.
Third Thursday's a killer for me. So
They're both Tuesdays.
that's perfect. And I can do any time you want.
And so that will give us enough time for if any residents would like to join, because that's one of the forums. They were talking about our meetings are too early, so they can't show up.
We would only commit to one and see if anyone shows up.
That's what we're going.
There you go.
Well, that's what we're gonna, that was,
So we've done.
Next meeting's going to commit to the time.
Yeah,
We've done.
not your first rodeo.
We've always changed our meeting days, because everyone kept saying, let's show up, we'll show up.
Yeah.
We waited a whole year for it.
so
So.
I-
The first one.
I will make a motion that we make the March meeting on April 18th, which is a Tuesday from 5:30 to 6:30,
March,
March
you,
18th.
you said April.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at all of it. March 18th, which is a Tuesday, from 5:30 to 6:30, and we talked about doing it at Heritage Hall because we can hold more people there.
Can we get the hall?
Yeah.
Yeah, he put all.
Yeah, so I picked the other day too, just in case we do want to keep it, because Heritage Hall is really hard to come by. So that's why when I
Yeah.
got warm, I checked it off.
Well, we got the motion on the 18th.
Yeah.
At 5:30, so,
5:30,
30 to,
Heritage Hall.
yeah, I'll second the motion.
Got it?
all in favor?
Aye, opposed? You think you can be there, my friend?
I can.
And
You think you want to be there?
Of course I do. I love that park committee.
But he's been with us this whole time.
I take a motion. Oh, anything general, any general thing you want to bring up? You have anything you'd like to say to us?
I just want to hear from you guys if anything else. I checked the fence yesterday. I've been walking around.
If you don't hear from us, that's great.
Yeah.
That means there's no problem.
We keep looking at the irrigation. Everything's
Paul,
looking fine.
What about the bush at the end of the dog? Is that part of this?
Yeah, he gonna.
All right, my friends, I'll
I'm
take a
happy
motion
to-
for,
I'm happy to be back as your liaison.
We're happy to have you back.
Hope to be it again next year too, so.
all right, I need a motion to adjourn.
All motion.
Second.
Aye.
Opposed?
I said, it's like, I'm done.
Yes, thank you. Excellent timing. So I can go to my next pro.
There you go.
Good job.
Still, thank you.
Gone.
Danny.
Yeah.
Thank you for